Yo, what is going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new Locals feature match. Here we are in the top 4 matchup from my Locals recent mega tournament that took place last Saturday. And I think this is going up on Sunday, I believe. And the finals will be posted today as well. I'm not going to let the finals get uploaded on Monday, so should be a double upload today if everything goes according to plan. And on the camera here we have my friend Colin on the left, who was on in round 4 against Invoke Shadal. Made it into top 8. Versus my friend John, resident Phantom Knight player, on the right, which I believe was also on another feature match. And we're going to see Tri-Lyrilusc win the die roll here, go first, leading with Tanky into Fractal. It looks like this is going to resolve, so we'll probably go ahead and dump Kit, dump Nerval, add Fractal, or add another Crass. Actually, I don't know what I'm talking about. Looks like he's going to go ahead and dump the Cobalt Sparrow and commit the normal summon here to Kit. And it looks like we're probably going to see him, link into Almirage, activate Kit, and this is probably where we see him dump Nerval, and Nerval effect to go search for the Karas. So, could be possibly getting that Cobalt Sparrow in the grave set up for a later play, which would make sense. Yeah, so banishing everything outside of the Cobalt Sparrow. Obviously, it's an extender in the grave to be brought back off of something potentially like Warbler later on. So it makes sense to leave it in the graveyard. We'll see him go for Shurig, as is standard, linking off the Shurig and the Karas into Farragut. Shurig effect here will proc, so we can go ahead and get a search. And wouldn't be surprised if he go ahead and searches out the DD Crow, which is actually really good card to have in hand for this particular matchup. It looks like he's going to go for Fractal, and I'm assuming he needs this because he needs the extender currently. He already had to burn his normal summon on the Kit, had to get the extra body on there to go ahead and link into the Bearbrum. Then we're going to see him go into the Appaloosa with 3 materials, and then we're going to see him go Chainlink 1 Bear, Chainlink 2 Farragut, or Chainlink 2 Bear, Chainlink 1 Farragut, it looks like. Don't really need to worry too much about chain blocking here because of the Appaloosa. So we'll see him search, put back, draw, put back, and then set to one of which we know is definitely the Revolt. The other, I think, is an Imperm based on what we saw in his opening hand. So he's got to play through Revolt, Appaloosa for 3, and an Imperm. Dark Ruler No More is going to come down. That'll trade with the Appaloosa. Basically a Forbidden Chalice at this point. And then we're going to see Tour Guide Kagamucha. So, I mean, really, really solid here for an opening. But obviously, Dark Ruler No More really only doing so much here. This is one of those points where you'd wish you'd rather have, like, a Lightning Storm or something. I can't wait till they come out with, like, a Dark Ruler for back row. It says you can't respond with Spell or Traps. That would be insane. Like, could you imagine? They'll never print a card like that, right? And that's what we said about putting Dark Ruler, or not Dark Ruler, that's what we said about Raigeki and Harpy's Feather Duster being put on the same card. But they did that. They went and did that. But, Imperm will be used here on Tour Guide. And this, isn't super surprising. Because if the Tour Guide gets the Graph out of the deck, when they link for Cherubini, they get the Cedar very early, allowing Cherubini to act as a Foolish Burial for any Phantom Knight card, which is really strong and definitely gets them a little farther ahead. So I think using the Imperm there early on makes the most sense. And then we're going to see him link into the Cherubini here, and we know the Revolt is still in the back line. And I feel like Revolt on this Cherubini is really strong, very, very fragile board state right now. And yeah, it looks like it is going to resolve. Just deciding here on what he's going to bring back. Kit, Nerval, and Farragut, so we can go ahead and get 2 searches here, 3 chain links technically, off of the Shurig, the Kit, and the Farragut. And he's going to go ahead and obviously banish the Cherubini, add the Kit, and then we're going to see him draw and put back here. And I think he drew into an Ash, if I saw that correctly. It looked like an Ash. Yep, it is an Ash. So he did draw into Ash here, so it's a matter of will he keep the follow-up, or will he keep the interruption for any follow-up his opponent may have? The only thing you'd have to worry about technically here would be something like Fusion Destiny. Because for him to reestablish his board right now is going to be so tough. Like, so incredibly tough to reestablish here, so. And speak of the devil, there it is. Ash for the Fusion Destiny. It's like he knew it was going to be there, and game one goes in the favor of Tri-Lyrilusc, just like that. Dark Lure Tour Guide, not enough in this case. So yeah, quick shout out to Imperium Duelist and TCG Player. If you guys are shopping on their sites, don't forget to use the affiliate links I have for TCG or the Coldest Water. And if you guys are buying anything on Imperium Duelist, don't forget you can use my discount code WinnerKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel. So here in game 2, we're going to see PK go first, opening up with Torn Scales Kagamucha and going for Boots, and then activating Torn Scales here, pitching Wings, and dumping the Cloak. And we're going to see a Lancia in response to Torn Scales here. So, yeah. And the Kagamucha Knight, I feel like coming down here really early, even though I feel like he didn't really need to use Kagamucha Knight there. Could have possibly held that. But I really don't know what you'd hold it for, to be totally honest. It just seems like he could have just gone Torn Scales, Boots, and played from there. But either way, we're going to see him get to Cherubini with the Graph being sent to summon the Seer. He could go for an Appaloosa here, which wouldn't be terrible. This is one of those situations where you got to really use your engine, like the toolbox engine that your deck has. I guess, I don't know how I'm trying to say this. Like, this is one of those decks that can, like, link pretty easily. It just gets a lot of bodies on board very, very easily. Like, he could link off here with the Cherubini and the Seer, right? The Cherubini will come back via the Seer, and they can make another link play here. So, very link-heavy toolbox with a deck like this. I mean, it's also kind of a rank 3 toolbox as well. It's just kind of finding out what the best combination is going to be to counter a Lancia, where most of your engine is turned off here. And that's probably, in some way, shape, or form, resolving a Rusty like we're seeing here. Could have gone for possibly an Appaloosa. But I think this play is really nice because it's going to give him interruption plus follow-up, which is always nice. And then, yeah, as expected, going into Anaconda, pay 2k. So, a really nice fallback play here from our Phantom Knight player against the Lancia. And this is one of those reasons why this particular build of Phantom Knight, I think, holds up so well to Lancia, is because it's not, like, super reliant on banishing, like some other builds I know are. I know, like, the Adventurer engine, I think, loses really hard to Lancia, if I recall correctly. Shutting off Enchantress and other things like that. So we will see him end on, you know, a Fogblade or 2 plus the DPE. Not terrible through Lancia. Definitely not terrible. Has tons of follow-up in the grave for him. No cards left in hand either. That means Celestial Dasher is going to be live so long as he draws a monster pretty much immediately. So we're going to see Bird Call here. Bird Call into Warbler. And we will see a Fogblade on Warbler, which is a pretty good thing to go ahead and Fogblade here. And then we're going to see him commit the normal summon to the Cobalt Sparrow. I also see a 1-for-1 in hand too, which is a crazy extender to have at this point. We're going to see, looks like a DPE. Yep, DPE popping itself on the Sparrow. Trying to keep him off a Recital Starling, I would imagine. Excuse me. Probably trying to keep him off a Recital Starling. And just a Link 2 in general, like something like Farragut to get an extender on board. But he's got that 1-for-1. Card is so strong for this deck. He will pitch the kit for it. So we'll get that Cobalt Sparrow right out of the deck yet again. And it'll proc its effect. And he'll also get to dump Nerval off the kit as well. So he's going to get Barrel Canary and Karass here. And has Fractal in hand still. And all the while has yet to commit a normal summon, which is also... Or no, he did... He normal summoned the Cobalt Sparrow. I was going to say, he didn't normal summon yet, but he already committed the normal. So that's why I think the DPE on the Cobalt Sparrow was a little more justified there if he's going to burn his normal summon on that. We'll see what the play from here is going to be. Do you go for the Recital Starling? I mean, or possibly could go for like an assembled Nightingale and try to make a play there, like a Zeus play. We will see him go for the Starling, and that's going to resolve to grab the Sapphire Swallow. It's going to bring itself out and Barrel Canary. And I believe that is all one effect on the Sapphire Swallow. It activates in hand, summons itself, and another one, I believe, simultaneously, I think is how it works. Taking a look at the extra deck here, though, seeing what is the play. Does he go for another rank 1 to go into, you know, Utopic Future and then into Draco? Does he make a link 2, looking at Farragut and Bearbrum there? We'll see what the play is going to be. Also, I saw him looking at double Dragon Lords too. But he will go for Farragut. Not going for another rank 1 play. Probably so, yeah, he can get this Karis, or not Karis, this Fractal out of hand. Because, you know, if he's able to get an extra Winged Beast body to his hand or whatever it may be, he could have the Karis live here in hand to keep extending through all these interruptions. So this is going to do a good job at forcing out that other Fog Blade that you kind of just have to know is there. Kind of have to assume if there's any set cards in the back line for a Phantom Knight deck, it's probably going to be Fog Blade. Or Imperm. Well, not even Imperm, because you really don't want to play Imperm typically in a deck like this, because you want Shade to be live if you are playing Shade. Because those Imperms will just kind of sit in your graveyard. And now that the Fog Blade has been burned on this Fractal, kind of makes this Recital Starling a bit of a threat, because it's definitely going to give him easy access to Zeus here. Because it is not Fog Bladed, and nothing on his opponent's side of the field is Fog Bladed, preventing him from attacking. So if there's some way here you can possibly get into another link play that'll give some fodder in his hand to be able to discard for the Karis. He knows he doesn't have to worry about any hand traps right now. There is no Break Sword in Graves. Doesn't have to worry about a potential pot with Rusty. Like, pretty much everything is known here for our Tri-Brigade player. The problem is, how do you not lose to the follow-up? Because there is a lot of follow-up. So we will see him link into Bearbrum. We will see him draw. It looks like another bird call there. Probably not exactly what you wanted to draw, but I mean, I guess it's probably going to get put back here. I would imagine the bird call was put back. So, I mean, that kind of takes that play away. Now, we will see him go for Rugal. And following one of the Fog Blades off there. That's going to get him the Revolt. He's going to put back the Karis there now, probably valuing the Revolt a lot more than the Karis, because that's going to get him access to an interruption plus follow-up as well. And it looks like ending on just Rugal there, which is not terrible, right? Especially through, you know, 2 Fog Blades DPE. Fog Blade does hurt the Tri-Brigade deck quite a bit, though, just because of the nature of the deck. A lot of its effects that you really want to stop take place right in the field. Normal summon, you know, Kit, Karaz, Fractal, whatever it may be. Hitting any of those is pretty much always going to be high value, because that's how they extend. So we will see DPE get brought back here in the standby phase, and this is going to prove to be a bit of a threat. So we will see the Revolt get shotgunned here. In response, he's going to bring back Nerval and Kit from the banished zone, and bringing back Farragut as well. And then going for Ominous Omen. And then I believe Omen was not used on Summon to Banish here, because he does have the Rugal up, so he could trigger the Omen at any time with the Rugal, and I think that's why he did that. Was mainly just to force the DPE, and that's exactly what happened here. So on a chain link now, we are seeing Nerval and Farragut. I think it's Chainlink. Chainlink 3 DPE. Chainlink 2 Nerval. Chainlink 1 Farragut. So we'll see him search and then draw and put back. And he wanted to double check here before he put back, I believe, just to make sure he's putting back the right card, because this is a really tough situation. Phantom Knight player, very ahead in terms of card advantage right now. And I think he's putting back the Searched Karis. And on a new chain now, we're going to see DPE Grave Effect activate as Chainlink 1, Shure Grave Effect activate as Chainlink 2, and we'll see him add DD Crow, which is really good here. But I don't know if one DD Crow is enough. And I can see why he wanted to search off of Nerval first and then draw, just to deck thin a little bit. Hopefully he finds some sort of hand trap off the Farragut, which I honestly don't know if he did, but it looks like he put back the Karis, so. Tour Guide's going to spec Tour Guide, Link 4 into Appaloosa, so this will shut down any hand traps that he may have. We'll see him Fogblade for Rusty, we'll see him chain the DD Crow. He'll Appaloosa and chain Rugal here, just so Appaloosa can't respond, because Appaloosa is once per chain. So we'll get the Nerval out on the board. If it doesn't get destroyed, it'll bounce back to his hand, which is a nice bit of follow-up. And if it hits the grave, it's a search. Well, he already used Nerval this turn anyway, so it won't be a search, but either way. And Rugal has another effect as well, where it can make everything lose 300 for each different attribute that's on this field when it dies. But since the Breaksword Rusty, well, the Rusty effect is going to pop the Nerval, so that will be a no factor here. Celestial Dasher, draw 2, Breaksword, clearing the Rugal, and then Breaksword Graveyard effect, revive the materials here. And yeah, I mean, even if that last card in hand was a hand trap of some sort, it will not matter in the slightest. And I wonder if an OTK could be pulled off here necessarily. Both the PKs being brought back are, of course, level 4, so can't make another Breaksword. Has to kind of go for a Link play here, and he'll go for the IP Masquerena. And he does have access to Wings Engraved, too, so he could use that to get extra damage back. He is also Dark Locked, so Zeus will not be an option here, unfortunately. I don't know if an OTK is necessarily possible. I mean, it might be. 800 from Appaloosa. Plus 16 from, or well, 800 from IP, 1600 from App, that's 24, plus Rusty's 21. That's 55. That's close. If you bring back a Breaksword, that's 75, and that's just shy. Maybe if you had a Torn Scale engraved, put the Torn Scale in attack position. That might actually be exact game, but it looks like he's gonna Wings out Torn Scales. Oh, he's got Shade Brigandine in hand as well. That's gonna be very, very clutch. And then we're going to see him link off the Shade and the IP for Unicorn. And yeah, I think he's going to be able to find his way to game there. And we are into a game 3. And as expected, we will see Tri-Lyrilusc go first here. We will see him start with Fractal. And Fractal is going to dump the kits, dump Nerval. Nerval effect to go ahead and search Classic. Classic play that we've seen for ages. It feels like a lot of I don't know, I've been doing like the commentaries lately. It's just like really, like, after doing so many, I guess now that Locals has like come back, because we had a little bit of a break in January, but yeah, I really see how the format in terms of the best decks really hasn't changed that much in a long time, because I feel like I find myself saying that a lot, like Classic, you know, Chainlink 1 Moyi, or Chainlink 2 Moyi, Chainlink 1 Chijiao, Classic, Fractal, Kit Nerval, you know, Anaconda, send the brick, summon out the Enforcer, right? Prank Kid plays, like, it's just, it's a lot. But, you know, I don't mind it. Actually, the only gripe I have with competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Currently is just Scythe Lock. And I think that's really about it. I think other, like, if Scythe was removed from the game and the Adventure Engine, which I despise, I know not everybody shares that opinion, but I do not like it whatsoever. I also don't, it's Scythe, the Adventure Engine, and how, like, a majority of the deck lists nowadays, at least at the past, like, maybe a couple weeks or so, with, like, 60 card variants becoming so popular with the Brave stuff, it's, like, 18,000 hand traps plus Brave Engine, and that's what, you know, like, 90% of people's, like, a majority of their deck looks like, and then whatever engine they just decide to throw in is completely different. So yeah, I don't know. It's like everybody's deck is like 70% the same, which is I don't know, makes things a little stale, right? We like to see new and different things from time to time, but I don't think it's that bad. Like, I don't hate this format. I've definitely hated formats worse. So we will see him end on Rugal with the set Revolt here. Not the best end board, but probably didn't open up super stellar. I don't know current like combo lines with the Tri-Lyrilusc deck post banless, obviously, so I don't know if he opened cracked or not. I definitely, just by judging his, by his end board, he did not open up too well. It's not like he opened up Warbler Sparrow, which is an insane opening. Definitely full combo. I think it's Warbler Sparrow plus any like Wing Beast, any BBW XD. But we will see him, and I think I know the reason for his, in quotes, subpar opening. It's because right now our Tri-Lyrilusc player has Nibiru, Lancia, and Ash Blossom enjoy a spring in hand, which I think in of its own right is going to be just enough here against this deck. Turakage resolving though, which is pretty good for our Phantom Knight player. But unfortunately, the rest of his hand is not super stellar. I believe there was a Cloak in there, and a Shade Brigadine, and a Wings. I think those are 3 of the cards in his opening hand. I remember going over this part specifically when I was editing it all together, all the graphics and everything. Which also one question I want to ask is, how do you guys like the current layout of the feature matches? I know it's been the same since, I want to say, like the beginning of 2019. I haven't changed it much, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But I kind of like the way it looks. Let me know. Maybe I'll look into possibly updating it at some point in the future, but obviously that takes a lot of time and effort. Especially something that's like really unique. We will see him go right into Unicorn, though. He's definitely trying to force this back row. He's not using Graph. Pitching Cloak here to get that out of the hand into the grave where it's more useful. This is definitely going to force Revolt here, obviously. And we'll see if he's actually going to banish with the Shuraig. Because, he technically doesn't have to, because he could use Rugal in combination with the Shuraig to banish basically at any point. Because I believe Ominous Omen says that anytime if it is summoned or another Beast Warrior is summoned, it can banish non-target banish. But it looks like he is going to get rid of the Unicorn. Yeah, Shuraig says if this card is special summoned, or if another Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster is special summoned to your field, you can banish one card in the field. So yeah, he could use Rugal technically to banish, but it looks like he's firing it off right then and there because he has Lancia, and then there's the Ash for the Fusion Destiny again, and that's going to seal it. Yeah, rough ending there for our Phantom Knight player, and we'll see you guys in the finals. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, a huge shout out goes to our Divine level channel members. They're Tweeter0226, Pony Start, Cadillacs84, and Keith Sidger. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your extremely generous and goated support of the channel.